Hi everyone, let's continue the campaign. Now the Skaven make their move and heading to the pit, actually. And here, if the winning Warband encounters a location during the exploration phase, they can voluntarily change it to the pit, with the slight twist that it is a little bit more dangerous. So let's go over the Warbands. Here are the Skaven, who make their move. They are clearly the favorites because they have the highest Warband rating and no heroes are out of action. Actually, Zigzag coming back in from missing the last 3 matches. He and his twin brother Startail are the 2 Black Skaven, both armed with Fighting Claws, Lucky Charm, and have the Art of Silent Death. Of course, they are still led by the assassin Shadowfang, who's as always backed up by the lethal sorcerer Whisper. And don't forget the 2 Night Runners, Pisspels with Throwing Stars, and Deadeye with the crossbow. As for the henchmen, 3 Verminkin, 2 with Spears, 1 with Club, both have Initiative and Strength +1, 2 Sling Rats, 2 Giant Rats, and the clan Scryer Red Ogre. The Orks are definitely in a disadvantaged position this game, because 2 of their heroes, their boss and the second Biggin, are missing this match because of injuries. So Agrim Atmosha will take the lead for this fight. Although the shaman Ulkor is still up to the task with his spell Fist of Gork and his resiliency, maybe he can swing the tide of the battle. Also, there are 2 boy heroes with crossbow, Hakon and Ruglut. Both have quick shot, and with crossbows they can always kill some enemies. And the boys are still always a force to consider. 2 boys with axes, 3 boys with spears, they have weapon skill 4 and 2 attacks by now. Then another single boy with sword, a lonely goblin with sword and shield, and 4 goblins with short bows. They have ballistic skill 4 and therefore are not the worst in the shooting phase. House Velmorn, not much has changed for them, besides the level ups from the experience. Still, their Lich, Lady Ursula, with 8 wounds, leads the charge, accompanied by the Necromancer, Gilbert, 2 Spellweavers, who are capable of killing someone. Well, at least Gilbert is. Ursula has had lots of troubles casting spells in the last games, but, well, she's a potential threat. Let's leave it at that. Then, the King, Frenzy, Step Aside, and Lucky Charm, his big son, Jedran, and his firstborn Martial Folk, the Graveguard heroes with the white swords, and the white hero Goliath with sword and axe. As for the henchmen, the other sons, Helmar and Tyne, 1 single goblin and 3 skeletons with sword and buckler, and as heavy support, the ogre bodyguard Big Willy. He has toughness 5 by now and, yeah, can take a punch and deliver a punch with the double-handed weapon. With movement 12, he is the damage dealer of House Velmorn. The scenario today will be the well, or the pool. And for this mission, if you are essentially in base contact with the pool or the well, and if you do nothing else for this turn, you can roll the die, and on a 1 and a 2, you will find a shard of Weirdstone. As for deployment, the Orks are deployed last, so they have to go in this corner with not much interesting terrain lying around, but yeah, as I said, they are boy heroes with crossbows. They can always shoot and maybe take out some rats. The Skaven are in a tight formation, and the plan more or less is with the assassin, who has sprint, to run up to the well and search for as much Weirdstone as they can. Because on the other side, the undead are very slow, they cannot run, they just move 4 inches at a time, so there should be plenty of time for the assassin to grab as much of Weirdstone and then maybe run back or kill some undead. He's pretty killy as well. Well, so that's the deployment, and yeah, undead have first turn. Here we go. And yeah, they moved up to the middle. Nothing else. There's nothing much they can do, actually. So yeah, that's the undead. Let's go to the Orks. Well, the Orks reckon they are hard enough to go toe-to-toe with the Skaven and maybe catch some of the weird stone. There's one boy who was bullied and failed the animosity test. So yeah, let's go straight into shooting. Ogre with 2 shots at the nearest giant rat. It's one of the summoned rats from Whisper. So first shot with quick shot hits, second shot misses. Then strength 4, toughness 3 needs a 3 to wound. That's a fail. Nothing happened. The Skaven are moving forward, and as planned, the assassin with an 18-inch movement straight to the well. And again, the undead are far away and slow moving, so he should have plenty of time. And the Orks are also not in threat range. Meanwhile, on the other side of the fence, the Skaven are preparing to encounter the Orks. Well, with toughness 4, it's still a task, but maybe the Red Ogre can make a difference. Shooting phase, most targets are hidden, so that I can only shoot at this lonely goblin. 2 shots with quick shot, 2 hits, and needing 3s to wound. Heading straight into undead turn 2. Moving up again, getting into position, but Lady Ursula is close enough to sling some magic against the assassin. Maybe she can take him out. It's not impossible. And the other ones just move up. Big Willy, he's the fastest, and maybe he can engage the Orks next turn, but let's go to magic. With the Spell of Doom, there's always a chance to just instantly kill one, but that's not good enough. As always, Lady Ursula fails to cast magic. And there is someone else who heard that there's a well full of weird stone. A wandering sorcerer, Methusalem, just showed up for the fight. So as for this random event, a mercenary will join the weakest warband, which actually is the House of Elmon, and will be part of the warband for this battle, and maybe stay for the rest of the campaign, resulting in even more enemies the Orks can fight. If they can pass their animosity with the one boy who already climbed up the ladder, just blocking the path for the other ones. So Hakon had to climb up the walls. Meanwhile, the goblins are trying to shoot down Big Willy, hitting 3 times against the large target, but needing 6s to wound, and no wound at all. Then Roglut, always eager to snipe some rats. Again, 2 shots. And hitting 1 time. And wounding 1 time. So maybe he can take out a rat. And there it is. First kill goes to the Orks. And it's time to trust in magic with the Fists of Gork. Or Mork, I don't know. And he casts them on an 11. That's a good sign. D3 hits for the 2 rats. Alright. 1 for each. Strength 3, needing a 4 to wound. First one fails. And the second one is also not good enough. Then, going to the goblin who's trying to shoot at the Verminkin. He hits on a 3 with ballistic skill 4. And wounds on a 4. That's good enough. And the armor save from the shield. Saved on a 6 for the vermin. And also, with 2 attacks, the spear boy wasn't able to finish the rat. At least he wasn't killed in the backswing, so Roglut, being the only one who can kill something, well, not a good start for the Orks. Let's get to the Skaven. Well, the Skaven are closing in, but they failed some fear checks. Or 1 fear check because the shaman causes fear. And the Orc also failed his fear check against the Red Ogre, but lots of double teaming 2 Skaven against 1 Orc on 3 occasions. The assassin failed to roll 1 or 2, so he didn't found any shards of Weirdstone, but he maybe gets 1 or 2 other tries. And the ranged Skaven are occupying the house to get into position. Well, a bunch of non-lethal attacks happened. No Doom was cast on Ogre, but with his Lucky Charm and his Resiliency, he just went down, stunned, but survived. Pispels throwing some throwing stars against the Lonely Goblin, and yes, again, he got a critical hit, but just stunning the Goblin as well, as did the Vermin within close combat against the Orc with the 2 axes. Let's head over to the Red Ogre, 3 attacks, hitting on force, so 2 hits, and needing force to wound. That's 2 wounds, going straight through the shield, so 2 injury rolls. Well, let's roll that up again. 2 injury rolls, there's a 6, kill. Ulkor striking first and destroying the Lucky Charm of Startail, so Startail can strike back, and he has 5 attacks in total, but just hitting 2 times on a 4+. Then needing 5s to wound, and no wounds, because Ulkor is resilient. With the boy and the rat both not being able to land a hit, Zigzag can maybe take out the Orc, hitting 2 times and needing a 4 to wound. There's 1 wound. Injury table, just stunning the Orc. Itching ever closer, the Undead Horde. Soon they will be in range to attack. Next turn, well, the spellcasters, Lady Ursula and Gilbert, are close enough to sling some spells. Big Willy taking a step back to wait for support. And Methuselah trying to jump down and passing his initiative check. Therefore, going over to magic, starting with the Lich, needing a not enough. Gilbert trying to cast as well. He successfully casts on a 9, so the assassin has to pass a strength check and passes on a 1, so no damage done by magic. And Methuselah, he tries to strike fear in the hearts of the nearest Orc, so casting a spell on a 6. Therefore, the Orc has to pass a leadership check on a 7, or on a 6 rather, so 7 is not good enough, so he runs back 2d6, 7 inches. Well, many Orcs were stunned, so they rolled over to their backs and now only are just knocked down, but still be hit automatically in the close combat phase, so some of the other Orcs are going into support. Shooting and magic was pretty uneventful, just 1 Skaven knocked over, but passed his initiative check and still remained on top of the walls. No hits against the Ogre, no magic went off, so going straight into close combat, trying to take out the Orc. The rat fails on a 5+, and the Skaven needing a 4+. Not enough, so this Orc survives. Continuing the duel with Ulkor and Startail. Startail has the high initiative, so he can strike first. 5 attacks again, needing force to hit, and only 2 hits again. And yeah, strength 4 against the resilient Orc, needing a 5+ to wound. There's a 6, so a critical hit. And it's a 4, so 2 wounds instead of 1. Therefore, 2 injury rolls. And there's a 6, so he takes out the Shaman. Well, just 1 casualty. The Orc survives, the Shaman got slain. And over here with Zigzag, everyone failed to inflict some wounds. Starting the turn for the Skaven with the Red Ogre, and on a 1 he rolls a malfunction, so let's see what it is. A 2 means that he goes berserk, so every round you roll the scatter die and determine a random direction where the Red Ogre is going, and he charges everything that's in the direction. And therefore now determining the direction the Red Ogre is going. Huh. Straight to the left, which means that he just clips Startail and attacks his own body. As for the rest of the Skaven, the assassin cannot find any Whetstone and getting some support. So the little rats also charging the Orks. No magic cast, no throwing stars to kill an Orc. There's infighting, another giant rat against the Orc, and the Verminkin against the Goblin. And yeah, the Orc boy has been eaten, Goblin has been stricken down, and also the giant rats ate the Orc boy on his back. And even the Orc boy survived and destroyed Zigzag's lucky charm. But going over against the main event, starting with the Red Ogre, he hits 3 times, no chance to parry, and needing a 2 to wound, so 2 wounds and even a critical, which grants a additional attack, being an unarmed one, but just resolving the first 2 injuries, and yeah, 6, he's already killed Startail. Well, Methuselah, you've got to pick your battles and know when to get in cover. Yeah, Big Willy charged the Orc because there were always interceptions, so he just went straight on. The Lich jumped down, 8 wounds, so she reckons she can take a punch. Gilbert getting ready to do some magic and getting into cover to not being shot by the Orc boy. 2 zombies actually were close enough to charge, and the rest awaits. And Big Willy just mop up the Orc, taking a wound in return, but also 1 goblin been stricken down by magic from Gilbert. And Methuselah, he frightened another goblin and made him run away. In the center, the 2 zombies were not good enough to inflict any damage. And well, the Orcs had enough. There's not much loot to get out of this fight. They already lost some of their boys, and yeah, their tactical position is not good enough, so they reckon they cannot get any better. And Skaven closing the distance to hopefully assist their heroes. One of the sling rats struck down a skeleton, but didn't kill it. So yeah, the assassin actually was frightened and he couldn't charge. So he stands still in the pool. No magic went off from Whisper, but yeah, there were charges against the Lich. 8 wounds. Let's see how it goes. And there goes nothing. No damage done by the zombies, but 3 wounds inflicted on the Lich. That's all that happened. Nothing more, so over to the undead. Well, being late to the party pays off in a multiplayer game. With this giant rat being scared and not being able to intercept Big Willy, it doesn't look very good for the Skaven in the middle. An all-out attack, but at least no magic went off. The king stunned the vermin and his son killed Sir Jedran, and the assassin destroyed both their lucky charms and did not kill each other. Big Willy couldn't kill anything, and the Lich is down to 2 wounds. The Ratkin are closing in to support, but, well, fear is always a factor. So let's see how it goes. At least one of the whites being brought down from shooting, but no magic could do any harm. Let's see how the combat goes. Well, just being toughness 2 and having a heavy armor is not good enough for the Lich to repel the Black Skaven, but Black Skaven being killed by Big Willy. The fight with Jedran and the Assassin is a draw, more or less. Jedran taking 1 wound of the Assassin and parrying like a madman. And the Spear Rat just impaled one of the skeleton and run free. Yeah, it's just a slow knocker around the pool. Lots of charges, lots of failed fear checks, and the king raging free. With no magic being cast, let's get straight into combat. Big Willy cleared the vermin around his feet. Still no winner between the assassin and Sir Jedran. The king only inflicting 1 wound against Whisper, so he survives, but yeah. This is where it all goes down, so let's go straight into the Skaven turn. And here you can see the disadvantage with having a low leadership. So no support from the Skaven for the heroes. Magic failing on a 4. And Deadeye 2 shots again against Martial Folk. 1 hit. Wounding on a 5. And again, just knocking him down. Throwing stars and slingshots also couldn't harm any of the undead, and Sir Jedran being impenetrable today, whereas the king, as always, just goes down and slays his foes, and gathering some weird stone in the process. This seems to be the final round, because, yeah, the Skaven are outnumbered by now from the fear-inducing undead and closing in on their ranged units, so next round they will retreat. Some magic to go off. Methusalem trying to inflict some fear, but failing on a 6. Gilbert has a 9, that's enough. So strength check for the Skaven. And passed on a 1. Big Willy squashing the rat, and Goliath not being able to kill the sling rat. Zombie and skeleton also not harmful. On the other side of the well, some knockdown all over the place. The spear rat killing a skeleton. That's nice. But let's have a look at the king, who attacked the assassin. He has 3 attacks. Well, just hitting once. And the assassin, yeah, promptly parries. Now the assassin striking back. Again on Sir Jedran, hitting just once because of the fear, and a 3 is not enough to wound. Well, the assassin survived the backswing because Sir Jedran and the lonely skeleton aren't strong enough to take the assassin down. As of casualties, Zigzag didn't make it, but was promptly rebought. Whisper lost 1 eye, but otherwise is fine and dandy. Losing 1 ballistic skill is not a problem for the Spellslinger. And for level ups, just piss spells. Learned another spell, he's now an Eagle Eye. As for the Orks, they escaped with a black eye. The fallen Spear Boy didn't make it. Ulkor survived and now has hardened, but as he's already immune to fear, so that's redundant, so actually he just survived without anything. They found some weird stone, they sold some weird stone, bought a helmet for Ogre and a lucky charm for Ulkor. Didn't roll high enough for the experience to hire a new boy, so couldn't stock up their ranks. But they gained a bunch of level ups. Ogre learned a new skill, he is now Step Aside. Ulkor also learned a new skill, and he rolled on a magic table and got Fist of Gork again. So now he's able to cast them on a 7+ instead of an 8+. That's pretty handy. Hakon, +1 leadership, well, that's that. And Ruglut, +1 ballistic skill. And the winner is House Velmorn, and they found 8 Witstone in total. 1 stolen from Whisper by the king during the fight. 2 as for fighting at the pit from the location, and 5 through the exploration phase. And as per the pit, they found the location and sent Goliath to the pit and never saw him again. So they lost their hero and had to rehire him, but they had enough gold, that's not a problem. Just sad that they lost the hero. But actually, as for being the underdog, everyone gathered a bunch of extra experience. So Gilbert leveled up again. He is now a Whetstone Hunter, which means he can reroll during the exploration phase. The King leveled up twice, +1 wound, +1 weapon skill. His firstborn, Martial Folk, learned another skill. He has now Strike to Injure, and Sir Jedran, the Firstborn, got +1 toughness. And not forget, their newest acquisition, or should I say addition, is the Warlock Methusalem. He also directly leveled up and has now 2 wounds. And that's it for today's battle. Thank you for tuning in, and until the next video, have a good one.